this video, I wanted to talk about salt because it is such an important part of your health. I know for many people, they think salt is unhealthy and they are trying to avoid it. For some reason, it's been demonized, just like fat and meat and other things. But actual sodium is one thing, but we do need salt in our diet. We need it to help with digestion, to stay hydrated. If you're drinking a lot of water all day and you are still thirsty, you're probably not holding on to that water. You're probably just drinking a lot and then going to the bathroom a lot. So putting some salt in your water is one way to stay hydrated. If you are someone that has problems with digestion and constipation, you may need more water with salt in your diet. You know, we tend to sweat and perspire. A lot of people are doing heated classes. You need to put that salt back in. And especially if you are practicing fasting. If you don't use any salt, you're probably going to feel fatigued and headachy. So this is one of the things that I find is that a lot of people are underutilizing salt. So I just wanted to take a minute to show you some of the different salts that you can purchase and use whether you're on a low carb diet, carnivore diet, or fasting, and get great health benefits. I think the big concern is if you have high blood pressure, it's not as a result of salt, it's probably as a result of all the other things that we eat, like refined foods and carbohydrates and sugar that can affect your blood pressure. So let's take a look. I'll show you a few different salts that I have here. So let's say you're on a super tight budget and you have only a little bit of money to spend on salt. You can still get benefits from the cheapest salt on the market. This is only going to be about $2, if that. It's not the best quality of salt, but it's probably better than having no salt. So if you're just not willing to invest in a better quality salt or you just don't have it, getting a little bit of salt in your diet is better than nothing. But there are better ways to get salt, and it's not a huge investment. This one right here is probably the one I use the most. It's Redman's sea salt. Redman's real salt. And the reason I like this one is because it comes from underground quarries, and it's really got a lot of iodine in it, and the flavor is really good. You can tell it has a little bit of pink color to it, very light pink. And it's not the same as Himalayan pink salt. This is actually much more in minerals. And when you take a look at it up close, you'll see there's a lot of flecks in it. It's a real natural salt as opposed to something that's really refined. So this is probably one of my favorites, maybe my favorite one. I really love this one. You can't go wrong with the flavor. And I even just put this in my water every day just to make sure I'm getting enough salt into my diet, and salt with iodine. This one is another one that I just recently got, Fleur de Sel. This is a salt from France. And I think this one doesn't have as many medicinal benefits other than just the fact that it's salt. So there isn't going to be much iodine in here. But these salts that come from France, you know, they do have a certain level of quality to them that I think is really good. This is, in fact, a really moist salt. So it's interesting how different qualities of salt come in. So there's nothing in here that would be added to for anti-caking or anything like that. That would be in regular table salt. So very pure natural salt, and a little chunkier consistency. Probably can't see it as well, but I usually put this on my steaks, and it makes a great meat tenderizer. So if you're using grass-fed steaks, then you definitely going to want to salt it. This is a great choice, and it is absolutely delicious. And then this last one I have is actually, I buy it in bulk, and this one is a really fine ground. This is kind of a gray color, and this is the Celtic salt. And I like Celtic salt. It also has a lot of magnesium in it, more minerals than any other salt. You know, sea salt actually doesn't really have any minerals into it. So this is a great choice over regular sea salt, or obviously over table salt. It has a super good flavor. I love this on almost all my foods, and even in water. But the thing that's lacking here is probably the iodine. So there's a little bit of variation between all of these. But the main point I want to get across is that salt is not a bad thing. We need salt in our diet. Most of the sodium people are getting in comes from processed foods. So that is where we go wrong. But we definitely need to include the salt in our diet. So the best thing would be to follow a high meat diet. So maybe a carnivore diet or a version of it, and include plenty of salt on your meat. So salting to taste, and then putting salts in your water while you're in between meals or if you're fasting. So give it a try and see how you like that.